It is resources. I mean, I agree completely with Cam, but it's just it's the it's the commitment the organization and the two of us have towards Canadian cinema, and the rest of our programming team. So we deploy resources, and we're convinced that that's something we should be doing. We're both passionate about Canadian cinema, and we think the organization should have deep roots within our own local community. I think it's naive not to do that, to be honest. We receive lots of government money, but we're both incredibly passionate about our own domestic creative talent. And so that commitment to Canadian cinema, we hope, will be totally reflected in the festival, just in terms of how we present it, the way we present it, the way we deal with the filmmakers, the friendships, for God's sake, that we actually have with these filmmakers, and the connections we have the rest of the industry, producers, distributors, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it's something that permeates who and what we are as curators, the two of us, as people trying to do a whole set of things. But one of the key things for us is not just to act as a launch platform for American films, or to showcase the best international cinema that we see around the world, or really, really difficult experimental work from around the world. It really is one of the key pillars of this organization, unquestionably, is our commitment to Canadian talent and to Canadian cinema. I mean, it's something that I've taught, that I've written about. I know Cam has as well. Broadcast. It's something that we grapple with intellectually. What it means, what these films are saying to us, how they're changing, what different things they're saying about the country. I mean, let's face it, cinema is like an X-ray into the soul of a culture, and that culture is my culture, and I want to know what's going on there.
The other thing too is that the festival every year really is such a huge meeting place. It's where people connect. And if you talk to any Canadian filmmaker, director, producer, writer, person in the industry, distributor, you'll find that they have meetings at the festival that are essential and that they could really only have in their hometown at the festival. I mean, this is where Canadian film connects to the international industry. Producers like Jennifer Weiss and Simone Erdl worked with Brian De Palma. Brian De Palma comes to the festival almost every year, and he's a great cinephile, and he attends tons of movies, and they were able to work with him through that kind of connection, a kind of contact that can happen at an event that's as big as this festival.
It's been a great symbiotic relationship over the years, because as this generation has actually arrived on the international scene, the festival has grown hand in hand with them and become one of the most influential festivals in the world. So the two things actually work off each other. To Cam's point, everyone, the major international players all come to Toronto because it's a must-attend destination. So you're going to Toronto, and at the same time, of course, you're curious about some of the key filmmakers and people that live here. And it's just, the two have actually strengthened each other. We've grown up hand in hand, and I think that's been very important. I mean, you look at Cannes, the French cinema was so strong for so many years, and Cannes was. Ditto with the Venice Film Festival. I mean, the extraordinary filmmakers who came out of Italy in the post-war period, emerged at the same time as the growth of the Venice Film Festival. So I think, we've been lucky that we kind of caught that moment of a generation of young Canadian filmmakers. Bruce McDonald, Adam McGowan, Patricia Rozema, Jeremy Podeswa, Peter Metler, they all kind of were in Toronto, and there were other filmmakers across the country, coast to coast, who were beginning to emerge at the same time. So we kind of caught that wave, and that was very, very important, I think, for the evolution of the festival, that we weren't just perceived as an international, as a place where international films were screened. There was actually something going on here locally that people were intrigued about.